Hi, a very good afternoon, everyone. This is Vignesh from Subtronica Technologies. I'd like to thank you for joining the session, today's session, and thanks for your patience. Without wasting any further time, we'll just quickly jump to today's agenda. We'll be talking on the automation of bill of materials and the BOM management. Before that, just quick brief about ourselves. We are an implementation partner for Dassault Systems SolidWorks and a technology partner for Siemens Digital Software Industries. And we are also a startup India recognized company. And we have built this add-on called BOM Creator and BOM Planner, which works on the top of your SolidWorks 3D CAD system, Solid Edge, and Autodesk Inventor. So the basic, when we talk about the basics, why do we create bill of materials? So we create bill of materials to understand the number of manufactured parts, hardware, bought-out items in a given machine, to enable the purchase team to procure the items required for complete manufacturing, procure the raw material based on the weight or the size, etc. Right? To understand what are the items which are required to be manufactured in-house, outsourced, etc. So bill of material becomes a very important critical component for any manufacturing process, right? So without which it becomes really difficult for any planning or execution process. I believe today we have only the SolidWorks users in here. So we'll be talking on the subject of SolidWorks today, more on the subject of SolidWorks. So in SolidWorks, we do have some kind of bill of material functionality already available, right? So one is the top level BOM, what we talk about. A top level BOM is basically the details of all the items available in the first level of the machine. Parts only BOM is something which gives you the details of all the SolidWorks parts available in a given machine. So it could be a hardware, it could be BOP, it's a mixed information, what we see. And when we talk about an indented BOM, so it's basically the parent-child relationship BOM, right? So in spite of having this basic functionality in SolidWorks, there are certain sort of areas where we face basic challenges in our day-to-day life. One of the major thing is like we spend a lot of time creating, uploading BOMs in ERP and SAP system. Okay, so what we do is basically either the our design engineers basically manually type each and every part number with respective details, or what they do is we prepare something in Excel or CSV format and upload it in the SAP or ERP system. So both of the things becomes a tedious and a challenging process, a time-taking job, a manual process. So when I talk about a manual process, so when we do it manually, there are chances we do mistakes. Hello? Yeah?
Sir, it is clear, sir. It is clear. You can continue.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So now what I was saying is like when we prepare BOMs manually, so there are chances we do a mistake. And this mistake is not identified during the design phase, but is identified during the manufacturing or the assembly stage, which becomes actually too late. Right. Next is the segregation of parts. Let's say in a machine there are manufacturing parts, there are bought-out items, there are hardware, lot of stuff in a machine, right? So now when it comes to the real-time production, when we talk about the real-time manufacturing, we have certain sort of information which is required to be segregated and given to the respective department. So the purchase department needs only the details of purchase items or the bought-out items. Manufacturing needs only the details of the production items, right? So now we sit down again, we put some filters in our Excel and try to filter them out. Next is like the delivery of projects gets affected because of not so very good planning, right? So when we talk about the project planning, so we do not fabricate or procure things normally, mostly based on the lead time, right? So now every project, every component has its own lead time, manufacturing lead time or the purchase lead time, right? When we fail to plan them accordingly, so the project gets delayed. Tracking of release of drawings. Right? So when I'm releasing the drawings, so now we are releasing drawing from day-to-day basis, but we do not have any track, any record of that. We are in how many drawings which have been released, what are required to be re-released, etc. Right? So normally we maintain some kind of Excel or register wherein we keep the records, right? So these information are not traceable, right? Not very transparent. Costing, another challenge. It's like when I'm building a machine, I need to have the cost of this complete machine, right? So now for calculating the cost of a machine, I need to consider all the necessary major cost components of the project, which is basically driving the project, right? So it could be the raw material, it could be the engineering cost, it could be the transportation, packing, etc. Right? Cost is the handling of multiple projects at the same point of time, right? So now when I'm executing multiple projects, when I have multiple projects in execution, right? So now with the planning and getting them accurately, managing them accurately becomes with minimum scrap is the biggest challenge what we see. So understanding these things, understanding these problems, we came up with a solution which we are calling as BOM Creator. Okay, so let me take you to the SolidWorks screen now. Let's see something in live. I hope my screen is visible. So as I said, this system works on top of your SolidWorks 3D CAD system, SolidEdge and Authorized Converter. So once this product is installed, you can see a button inside SolidWorks window, and you can start accessing the information and you can start accessing the data. So now the first and foremost thing which you see is the ERP BOM or the SAP BOM. So this is nothing but we basically give an output, or we create a report which basically can be readily uploaded to your SAP or the ERP system. So how do we do that? We basically understand the database of your ERP system or the SAP system. We try to build the channel between both the databases, and we try to push all the information, the required fields, whatever needs to be taken to the SAP system. So it could be the part number, it could be the description, it could be the material, whatever. So whatever information is required to be sent, we do a customization, we understand your database and link it, right? So if you want the report to be created in Excel format, so that can also be done, Excel or CSV or PDF, whatever format you need. So that can also be done, right? You can just put it and you can create an BOM in Excel format as well, a detailed BOM, I would say. Right? So you can do a bulk upload of your all your BOM, or you can do a part by part upload as well. So both ways it can be done. Right. So this is a sample thing, right? So this format is customized based on the different industry requirement, but different ERP systems requirement, different industries requirement, etc.
Your video isn't very good on external camera. Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it was clear, sir.
Okay, great. So next, when we talk about the design BOM is complete detailed BOM, right? So detailed, when I say detailed BOM, it's complete pictorial representation of your everything. So covering up the complete BOM, so basically complete project BOM. So when I say, so right, so it covers up your main assembly, the top level details, right? So a production BOM, a manufacturing what we say, right? So it gives you the complete glimpse, and it also gives you the information of the finished weight summary of your material, right? So this plain carbon steel. So this is a consolidated weight. So this is complete added, right? So what the total for plain carbon steel weight in this machine is 670 kgs. Cast alloy is 627 kgs. So this is a consolidated weight for the planning activity. So let's say if I want to plan, if I want to procure, if I want to plan the material for this machine, so I can plan it based on the weight if required, right? Again, these reports, as I said, can be created in Excel, and you get the complete detailed report as well. Open it. So now you get the complete detailed BOM, as I said, right? So you can have put some images on the BOM, so as to make it more clear, the BOM more clear, the items more clear, so it gives a greater flexibility and visualization of a product what we are trying to manufacture, right? So everything can be added. So and at the end, this is the weight summary what we are giving for the planning activity. Let me go back. So next, there's something called, let's say I want to identify the manufacturing parts, the consolidated list. Like I want to give the details of manufacturing parts to the production team. So I can get a consolidated report, right? So of the total, all the manufacturing parts. So there's no hardware, no BOP. So it's only the details of all the manufacturing parts. So items which are repeated, it adds them and gives you the total quantity of all the information. Again, this enhances your planning activity, right? So let's say I want to plan it for I want to get the details of hardware, so I can get the details of hardware as well. So I consolidate a report in a given machine, in any given machine, right? So that eases out our complete process. Next, there is something called the priority list. So here what we are giving you provision is like we want you to plan it based on the lead time, right? So now, as I said, so there could be different lead time for different parts, different hardwares, etc. So for any given part, let's say it has a higher lead time. Let's say if I release drawing today, it could be manufactured. It will take, let's say, 5 weeks of time to get manufactured, right? So there is a component which may take, let's say, 2 days to get manufactured from the date of drawing release, right? So we can plan it. We can categorize them. We are putting them categorizing in high, medium, and low. So high, medium, high category list are the list of the items which will take larger time to get manufactured. So the higher time to get manufactured. So these needs to be considered first, right? Medium list is something which we create for generating the items with average manufacturing lead time, and low is with the low least lead time. So you can create these lists based on any of the component types, and you can generate it as based on high, medium, and low, right? So this way it eases out your planning process, it eases out the execution process, and when you plan things based on the lead time, you do not end up, you will rarely get your project delayed. Next, talking about the tracking of drawings, right? So now we can track the drawings based on the department wise, the person whom we have released, what is the count, which date we have released. So this gives you full transparency. So you need not re-release same drawing again and again, right? So this keeps a complete track of the complete information. So you can have it department wise, right? So we have done it for production, purchase, and quality. If you need any other further department, you can ask, let us know, we can customize it for you. Next, let's talk about the costing. So when I talk about the costing, so now costing is something basically wherein we have categorized into different fields: fabrication, consumable, hardware, engineering, packing, and transportation. So when I talk about the fabrication, so what we can do is basically we can put in the sum per kg cost, right, to the raw material based on our day-to-day cost. So now right now I'm putting some random cost. So this may not be actual price as per the market right now, but I'm just putting some random price. So you can categorize them. You can basically put the raw material cost per kg cost to the items, and you can create the costing for this complete process. And this way, we are just trying to make sure that we are covering all the major cost components, and we are trying to add the cost considering all the necessary information. So in case if you feel there is any important parameter which is not available in this, so that can be customized for you. That's it. So I'll go to the consumable items. Right now I don't have any consumable items. The consumable items could be like my lubrication oil, paint, anything which is not in part of my 3D system, but one wants to be part of my costing, so I can consider that there. Next, hardware or bought out. So now per piece cost. So there are hardwares, right? So let me put some again random prices here. Right. Engineering, let's say there's a design engineering. It is required, let's say it's a 200 hours job, and my per hour cost is, let's say, 500 rupees, let's say. Next is my packing. So let's say I need to do a roadworthy packing. Let's say my box size is 100 feet by 100 feet by 100 feet, and I need 2 number of these boxes, and my cost per cubic feet is, let's say, 30 rupees. Last is transportation. I need a 40 feet truck, 1 vehicle, and the cost of vehicle, let's say 2 lakhs per vehicle. Right. So when we open and see this, to get all the parameters which we have done, right? all the information, the raw material cost, consumable, we didn't consider anything, hardware bought out, right? So that's the hardware bought out cost, that's the engineering cost, that's the packing cost, that's the transportation cost, that's the total project cost. So you get the complete project costing out there. Back. Last is the comparison of machines. So the comparison is nothing but, let's say we have multiple projects in execution, right? So now a lot of instances, what happens is we have got a lot of parts in common in 2 different machines or 5 different machines which are being executed parallelly. So with BOM Creator, we give you a provision wherein you can compare machines and you can identify the common and the unique parts. So this help you compare them and you can identify the common parts and you can plan them together. So how would that help you? When you plan them together, you release the same drawings only once, and secondly, whatever information you are getting, you'll basically you'll be planning them together. So the raw material scrap which will be controlled therein. So there will be a lot of control on your raw material scrap. Right, so when you compare, so it gives me the total quantity and the respective quantity in the respective machine. Similarly, I want to plan my hardware, so I can just quickly click and get the total quantity which just need to be ordered, so I can get the details out there. So, yeah. So any questions, anything, you can go ahead and ask.